few requests to do a layout tour. I did one of these earlier in the year, maybe just end of last year, but obviously a lot's happened since then to the layout. So I'll give you a quick rundown of the layout from each of the 4 sides, and it'll maybe update those who've already seen the previous updates, or a kind of eye-opener to those who are new to the channel. Hope you enjoy. Any questions, just please get in touch. Cheers. Right, we'll start at the west end of the station now, with the tunnel entrances, the retaining walls and the signal box. All the retaining walls and tunnel mouths and the signal box and flats in the back scene are made from scale scenes, either kits or brick papers, mounted onto 2mm or 1mm grey board card, and then in the case of the retaining walls that's been glued onto 6mm or 9mm ply to stiffen it, and that in turn has been screwed onto the uprights of the raised section behind it. The signal box is a replica of the now disused signal box at Edinburgh Waverley. I got the plans from somebody and I based the design on that. Obviously a few alterations for fitting it into the layout, but it is fully interioured and fully lit. And if I actually put the lights on, there we go. It's got a working light and a control panel. I was going to say working control panel there. It's a step too far even for me. And we've got a wee man that permanently positioned there, staring out onto the tracks. If I take the roof off this, it has a full, as I said, full interior, and I'll lift the camera up. Some of the furniture's a bit higgledy-piggledy at the moment, but the plans on the back of the wall are replicas of the actual plans in the rail track formation around the station. Made that control panel from wood, and then did a computer produced fascia, and then just spray mounted it on. I like to use spray mount glue whenever possible, or Pritt stick for bits and pieces, but I find 3M spray mount or craft mount is the best glue for a good adhesive contact. All the track on the layout is Pico 100, and it's been weathered using rail match paints and sleeper grime and roof dirt, and there's videos on what I've done with that over the course of my channel's uploads. I've got the speed signs, the old BR or LNER speed signs there, because obviously transitional period in the 80s they were still putting more modern ones up, but there were still obviously the traditional ones there. They are 10 Commandments, as is all the cable trunking on the layout, which is just painted with a precision paints concrete. All my signals on the layout are controlled and have sensors on the track. These are CR signals, great products, good quality, and good price as well, and realistic looking. All my relay cabinets are from Wills, and they're just quick put together kits. Going up to this area here, it's got a street light there, and you can see a granny chasing a young boy, obviously for getting up to mischief, and there's a little bit of garden in there as well that you can't see 99% of the time, but it's there. And a couple of bikes lying scattered on the ground along with the dustbins as well. And I think there's a man there, relieving himself in the bushes. These are scale scenes, but I've altered it. They're low relief, but I've altered it so it's sitting at an angle, just to give it that more three-dimensional look than just stuck flat against the back scene. The back scenes are all ID back scenes, self-adhesive on a white gloss painted background. These are the 15-inch self-adhesive ones, and I've had them slightly altered to make the houses appear more in the foreground as opposed to the background. But from the top of the wall there with the bushes and to the top of the back scene is around 14 and a half inches. So obviously there's a wee bit of back scene down below. Looking at the main station area, we've got scale scenes platforms with a Metcalf tarmac surface. These are on a ply or ply formers, if you like, to give them strength, as opposed to just the cardboard formers, which is what the scale scene kit says you could use. I just use wood. It makes it more rigid and durable. These are screwed from underneath into the baseboards, so they don't move. The lights are DCC Concept LEDs. I believe you can now get the Gagemaster version, because Gagemaster are the supplier, one of the suppliers of DCC Concepts, and they're a heck of a lot cheaper than these things were at the time, and they're identical. But these have been painted. The furniture on the platforms there is all made by me. Just bits of square section plastic card, and TV screens and information clocks and boards and stuff. If I can zoom in a little bit more, you can see them there. Platform 1 and 2, and the name signs there, self-adhesive "Welcome to Dean Park" stickers on them, and they were model scene nameplate kits that I just adapted. The area to the right here that's still bare will be a gardened, manicured tree area all the way up towards the tunnel entrances. I'm just not doing that just now because I still need access to bits and pieces of the station, so when I'm totally finished with the area, I'll do that at some point this winter, hopefully. The billboards in and around the station are partially Ten Commandment kit, partially made by me. The poster is made by me. What I did is obviously went on the internet and found out what I could get in the way of intercity and British Rail and whatnot, posters of that kind of era. I've also got other topics. I've got one British Airways down the other end of the station, which you'll see in the forthcoming clips. I printed them out on a high gloss photo paper, sprayed them with matte varnish to take the sheen off them, and then spray them out at the back and fix them in position. And I have to say, they look the part. If I zoom into this one a little bit more, it's obviously from the Inner City Swallow 125 era, which kind of ties in with my mid to late 80s, early 90s. A lot of people ask what this little indicator here is. It says off. This is an off indicator that you get at stations where the platform's long and the driver or the guard, releasing the train, the dispatcher might not be able to see if the signal's clear at the end of the platform. So as soon as the train goes across the sensor to change the signal to red, this indicator will go off, and if the signal's clear to go, then it says off. It's quite a nifty wee kit there, and it's linked, as I said, to the signal. This little area here was one of my first scenic attempts at static grass, and what it is, it's a small substation, and these are actually from the Hornby electrical substation kit that I just ripped out and placed them in, and I've got some brass etched security fence in there painted dark green, as is the case around Edinburgh Waverley. And these lights here from Express models, buffer stop lights, and these are standard Pico buffer stops that have been painted grey with yellow buffer squares, just like the ones at Edinburgh Waverley. Small little palette there, that's a Bachmann product. And this is just 2 and 4mm static grass with some underbrush and bushes from Woodland Scenics. The kit next to it is the post office kit, if you like, or the sorting office depot, or the station depot. I've just made it a Red Star parcels depot, and that's a Scaleson's kit. Under the roof is fully detailed, illuminated. It's got details such as passengers, seats, bins, station staff, signage, information boards, the lot. Okay, these seats there are from 10 Commandments, and they're the pre-bought ones that are pre-painted. You get the kits, I'd avoid them and just get the pre-made ones. They're a lot easier to use and they're very, very fine brass. So that's the seat next to the little girl and the old lady there. The bins as well are 10 Commandments that you can probably see next to the seat. In the days where they had bins in stations before idiots started putting bombs in them. And that grey column at the side of the left hand column there on the screen, that is the wiring duct to take the wiring up to the LED at the top of the roof, so there's no wiring on show at all above the baseboard. The station building is adapted Scaleson's kit. It's reduced in width to fit into my baseboard area that I've got allocated. It's a really good kit, and it's sitting on one of the bases as well that you can buy with obviously the steps just to raise it up to the platform level. You'll see inside it's fully lit, and if I go upstairs here, it's populated and furnished. There's an upstairs waiting room, there's a man sitting reading the paper or whatever there in the book room, and along here there's a woman sitting on her sofa there, maybe checking her file of fax or her pager. Obviously no mobile phones in these days. If they were like bricks. Downstairs will be a cafe eventually when I get seating and whatever. And the other side's a booking office. And it's fully interioured, it goes straight through to the station there, and there's some illuminated vending machines. Moving out to the car park, we've got more passengers. They're all my figures tend to be Bachmann. There's a telephone box, you've got the EFE postal boxes there. Again, I've got some bespoke custom made signage there, sticky back on a plastic card frame and pole that I made myself. And then there's the ticketing machines and the parking ticket machines, again Bachmann products. And all the cars in the layout tend to be Oxford die-cast. The footbridge underneath there is a dapple kit, and it's painted in the same kind of colour as you'd find the Forth Bridge, in that kind of red oxide. Again, it's fully weathered and populated with passengers, and if you look through there you see a kind of concourse area through the gap with people sitting, information boards, and a Scenecraft buffet building. I'll lower the camera a little bit. And then the red lights at the end of the bay platforms there, just above the phone box. So even the bits you don't see regularly, I tend to like to put detail into, just because I have the camera underneath the roof doing some shots. It certainly pays off to have some form of detail. The roof itself, by the way, is also a scale scenes kit, and it splits down the middle, so I can take half off to do maintenance and cleaning if I need to. And there's 3 sections there. You can almost see three identical sections, and there's lights in each. That was quite a master task to get all these built. That's why I built it in 2 sections so I could lift it out when I needed to. Looking at the west end of the station now, the same kind of platform furniture. I've got silver railings there down the middle platform beside the 2 young train spotters. These are 10 Commandment brass kits. I've got the scenic material on the base of the wall there with a kind of electrical cabinet box with the men in orange suits there. That's a Bachmann product. And you might have seen the British Airways billboard there that I made. I've got the AWS warning sensors there in the track. They are Pico kits. Also got there your cable trunking with the orange ducting going through the sleepers under the tracks there. That's just single core fine wire. A lot of people go for, thicker tubing there, and even some people do use hollow cotton bud tubes. I think that's overscale, so I've gone for the finer wire. The back scenes here is also from ID back scenes, and here we come to the level crossing, which is scratch built using various bits and bobs. The lighting sections are express models. The barriers were made, well, I took the actual red and white striped barriers are from a Pico kit, but everything else is scratch built, including the bit that holds the barrier, and they move up and down. They're not automated because I can't get access to the motors, and there's lots of wire under there just now, as it is with the 4 illuminated crossing lights. The actual crossing is made from plastic card, painted black, in the Woodland Scenics asphalt tarmac, and the white lines were scale model scenery vinyl road markings. No longer produced. He produces the ones now that you like templates that you can paint on, which are good as well. I just did this because I needed it obviously nice and neat over the tracks and stuff. As you can see, I've done it as neat as I can. The girders here are a Wills kit, and all the walling was scratch built and covered in the scale scene brick papers. The lighting here is from Kite's lights. I think you get 10 for £20 or something. I just sprayed them up. They're cool, they're wee LEDs and they're nice and small. A lot of people have illuminated layouts where it's like the sun's coming out every single one of them. They're so bright. So I try to get the smallest bulbs I can. I've got a small little scene going on here. I've got 2 trees from the model tree shop in this kind of little bit of undergrowth here, and you'll see it's very patchy grass. And I've got this little fox having a little roam in and around the undergrowth. This was from unit models. I don't think you can get them anymore. I think it's no longer trading. Nice wee touch. Right, we're moving on to the newest scenic part of the layout here, and this is the east end of the layout. This has been on the go now for about 12 months, scenic wise. Obviously the tracks were laid before then. I've scratch built all these retaining walls you see, all the red brick retaining walls, and they took ages because of the curve, and the structure behind them is quite complex. And there's a lot of glue used, and a lot of time to think out, you know, what was the best way of doing it. The kind of bridge stroke tunnel entrance there again is all made from plastic card scratch built, and so are the internal walls, and it's all internal walled, even underneath the tracks there, so if I get a cam truck or whatever and run it through, you'll be able to see the walls of the tunnel. If I move up here, my latest idea and decision along with the back scenes is to put a newly or in the process of being built housing area, and the white square there will be a 2-storey house, and obviously I'm going to have gravel, mud, a site office down at the left there beside the level crossing. You know, there's I think Oxford are bringing out a JCB from the 1980s early next year, so I'll hold off before I do the scenic stuff. Buy a couple of them, obviously piles of gravel, builders, tradesmen, vans, you know, general building site rubbish. Moving round, you can see the other tunnel mouth there, which appeared in my recent update, and this is the start of the incline. All the scenic materials you see here are either miniature or woodland scenics. Miniature are German, I think. And I've got all the details in the tracks as well, like the drainage covers that have been rusted, and all the rail side junk and paraphernalia that gets left. That H-shaped square there is obviously not supposed to be there. That's a base for one of the overhead masts that I've scratch built. They've not been put in place yet. I was waiting until I'd finished the back seat stuff. So the retaining wall runs right along. I've just finished the capping as well, made from plastic card, sprayed in various shades of grey through an airbrush to get the variation of, you might not be able to pick it up right under the fluorescent light here, but trust me, they are different and subtle. And right the way along, the relay boxes there with the barrier, and the little new addition is the telephone there at the right hand side there for the engineers to phone in any faults. And then the recently finished caravan park, which I've shown you in my previous updates, and the little mini diorama series, so I'll not spend too much time on that as we move around here. The grey area just at the bottom of your screen here will be a substation with security fencing and stuff. I don't know if it's going to be an in-use substation or I can run down weed covered affair, but that will happen in the next month or so. And down here is a girder bridge. You can see the girder sitting on top there of the bare ply, and I've got the pillars and piers in place, and as I've said, that's the stonework that I've just fitted, the capping, and you see I've got different shades of grey in there. Most of that will be hidden, but you know, sometimes with me I like to paint the stuff even that's hidden. It's practice if nothing else. So the scenic material will be added to the area at the bottom of the retaining wall very shortly, and behind the hoppers. This area here that's all bare will be a slight raised section, not as high as the raised section where the tracks are on behind. I don't want to block out the lower tracks here. Just a kind of raised section, possibly with depot, post office sorting depot, that kind of thing, industrial units and stuff. Nothing too high. I still want to be able to see the tracks and the trains go as I stand here. I like this little area for doing my work on actually local maintenance, so I might have a lift out section that I can still access the lower baseboard just sitting potter about. Let's see, this has been on the go now since, you know, last October, and it's come a long way. It might not look a lot of work, but trust me, it's a lot of planning in these retaining walls. Planning, making the frames, putting the brick work on, making everything's been scratched built, making the buttresses, the capping, the fine brick detail, you know, the ridges and stuff, all scratch built, all painted. I had to teach myself how to paint brickwork, and you know, I'm fairly chuffed with my first effort, and I'm quite chuffed how that back scene just blended into the actual scene as well. It looks like it's part of it, which is the whole point. I'm currently in the process of planning the back scenes for this area and right the way along the back of the other full length of the base, the layout and the back scene. There, we're getting painted white very shortly. that's it for the first part of the layout tour. I'll do a second part which will cover the TMD side and the west end of the layout. I felt there'd be too much to go through in the one video. I'd have you all kind of drifting off to sleep. So hope you find what you've heard and seen in this video useful. And if you have any questions, please do get in touch. I'll try my very best to help you. Thanks just now.